I started up from my sleep in joy and gladness, and hastening to do the bidding of the mysterious voice, found the bow and arrows, and shot at the horseman, and tumbled him into the main, whilst the horse dropped at my feet. So I took it and buried it. Presently the sea surged up and rose till it reached the top of the mountain. Nor had I long to wait ere I saw a skiff in the offing coming towards me. I gave thanks to Allah, and when the skiff came up to me, I saw therein a man of brass, with a tablet of lead on his breast inscribed with talismans and characters, and I embarked without uttering a word. The boatman rode on with me through the first day, and the second, and the third, in all 10 whole days, till I caught sight of the islands of safety, whereat I joyed with exceeding joy, and for stress of gladness exclaimed, Allah, Allah. In the name of Allah there is no God but the God, and Allah is Almighty. Thereupon the skiff forthwith upset, and cast me upon the sea. Then it righted, and sank deep into the depths. Now I am a fair swimmer, so I swam the whole day till nightfall, when my forearms and shoulders were numbed with fatigue, and I felt like to die. So I testified to my faith, expecting naught but death. The sea was still surging under the violence of the winds, and presently there came a billow, and bearing me up high in the air, threw me with a long cast on dry land, that his will might be fulfilled. And I crawled up the beach, and doffing my raiment, wrung it out to dry, and spread it in the sunshine. Then I lay me down and slept the whole night. As soon as it was day, I donned my clothes and rose to look whither I should walk. Presently I came to a thicket of low trees, and making a cast round it, found that the spot whereon I stood was an islet, a mere home, girt on all sides by the ocean. Whereupon I said to myself, whatso freeth me from one great calamity cast me into a greater. But while I was pondering my case and longing for death, behold, I saw far off a ship making for the island. So I climbed a tree and hid myself among the branches. Presently the ship anchored, and landed 10 slaves, blackamoors, bearing iron and baskets, who walked on till they reached the middle of the island. Here they dug deep into the ground until they uncovered a plate of metal which they lifted, thereby opening a trapdoor. After this they returned to the ship, and thence brought bread and flour, honey and fruits, clarified butter, leather bottles containing liquors, and many household stuffs. Also furniture, table service, and mirrors, rugs, carpets, and in fact all needed to furnish a dwelling. And they kept going to and fro, and descending by the trapdoor, till they had transported into the dwelling all that was in the ship. After this the slaves again went on board, and brought back with them garments as rich as may be. And in the midst of them came an old man, of whom very little was left, for time had dealt hardly and harshly with them. And all that remained of him was a bone wrapped in a rag of blue stuff, through which the winds whistled west and east, as saith the poet of him, time caused me tremble all how sore the bulk, while time and pride of strength doth ever stalk. Time was I walked, nor ever felt I tired. Now am I tired, able embellishing every heart with his loveliness, and subduing every soul with his coquetry and amorous ways. It was of him the poet spake when he said, Beauty thy brought with him to make compare, but beauty hunger had in shame and care. Quoth they, O beauty, hast thou seen his like? And beauty cried, his like, not anywhere. They stinted not their going, O my lady, till all went down by the trap-door, and did not reappear for an hour, or rather more. At the end of which time the slaves and the old man came up without the youth, and replacing the iron plate and carefully closing the door slab as it was before, they returned to the ship and made sail, and were lost to my sight. When they turned away to depart, I came down from the tree, and going to the place I had seen them fill up, scraped off and removed the earth. And impatience possessed my soul till I had cleared the whole of it away. Then appeared the trap-door, which was of wood, in shape and size like a millstone. And when I lifted it up, it disclosed a winding staircase of stone. At this I marveled, and descending the steps till I reached the last, found a fair hall, spread with various kinds of carpets and silk stuffs, wherein was a youth sitting upon a raised couch, and leaning back on a round cushion with a fan in his hand, and nosegays and posies of sweet-scented herbs and flowers before him. But he was alone, and not a soul near him in the great vault. When he saw me, he turned pale, but I saluted him courteously and said, Set thy mind at ease and calm thy fears. No harm shall come near thee. I am a man like thyself, and the son of a king to boot, whom the decrees of destiny have sent to bear thee company and cheer thee in thy loneliness. But now tell me, what is thy story, and what causeth thee dwell thus in solitude under the ground? When he was assured that I was of his kind, and no genie, he rejoiced, and his fine color returned. And making me draw near to him, he said, O my brother, my story is a strange story, and 'tis this. My father is a merchant jeweler possessed of great wealth, who hath white and black slaves traveling and trading on his account in ships and on camels, and trafficking with the most distant cities. But he was not blessed with a child, not even one. Now on a certain night he dreamed a dream that he should be favored with a son who would be short-lived. So the morning dawned on my father, bringing him woe and weeping. On the following night my mother conceived, and my father noted down the date of her becoming pregnant. Her time being fulfilled, she bare me, whereat my father rejoiced and made banquets and called together the neighbors and fed the fakirs and the poor, for that he had been blessed with issue near the end of his days. Then he assembled the astrologers and astronomers who knew the places of the planets, and the wizards and wise ones of the time, and men learned in horoscopes and nativities. And they drew out my birth scheme and said to my father, Thy son shall live to 15 years, but in his 15th there is a sinister aspect. And he safely tided over, he shall attain a great age. And the cause that threateneth him with death is this. In the sea of peril standeth the mountain magnet height, on whose summit is a horseman of yellow laton seated on a horse also of brass, and bearing on his breast a tablet of lead. 50 days after this rider shall fall from his steed, thy son will die, and stocking it with all required for the few days still remaining. He brought me hither in a ship and left me here. 10 are already past, and when the 40 shall have gone by without danger to me, he will come and take me away. He hath done all this only in fear of Prince Ahib. Such then is my story, and the cause of my loneliness. When I heard his history, I marveled, and said in my mind, I am the Prince Ahib who hath done all this. But as Allah is with me, I will surely not slay him. So I said to him, O my lord, far from thee be this hurt and harm, and then, please Allah, thou shalt not suffer cark nor care, nor aught disquietude, for I will tarry with thee and serve thee as a servant, and then wend my ways, and after having borne thee company during the 40 days, I will go with thee to thy home, where thou shalt give me an escort of some of thy Mamelukes, with whom I may journey back to my own city, and the Almighty shall requite thee for me. He was glad to hear these words. When I rose and lighted a large wax candle, and trimmed the lamps and the 3 lanterns, and I set on meat and drink and sweetmeats, we ate and drank and sat talking over various matters till the greater part of the night was gone, when he lay down to rest, and I covered him up and went to sleep myself. Next morning I arose and warmed a little water, then lifted him gently so as to awake him, and brought him the warm water wherewith he washed his face, and said to me, Heaven requite thee for me with every blessing, O youth. By Allah, if I get quit of this danger, and am saved from him whose name is Ahib ben Kasib, I will make my father reward thee, and send thee home healthy and wealthy. And if I die, then my blessing